Doesn't want to say anything.
He might change his mind, but he said he doesn't want to say anything.
Good to know. All right. Again, good morning.
Morning.
First individual we have this morning is Daniel. I think it's Boney or Bonnie.
Bonnie?
Wait,
Yeah.
remember? He's
Oh,
the one that- yeah, he waived.
Your Honor, he waived his presence, but we can proceed.
Yeah, very kind of you.
For him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it.
Perfect.
All right, so I have a PDF for him, so I'm going to appoint a public defender. Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's requesting bail in the amount of $20,000, pretrial services supervision with testing for controlled substances if he's able to post. I do want to inform the court that we're charging the open and gross lewdness as a felony based on his history. So he scores an 11 on the risk assessment. He refused to answer questions. As far as criminal history, he has 6 prior felony convictions, 4 prior felony convictions for indecent exposure. Most recently, he's got a felony conviction for obtain or use the personal identifying information of another to avoid prosecution. That was out of 3rd JD. He's got a felony conviction for violation of parole out of California in 2022. Felony conviction for indecent exposure with prior prison term, 2 counts of that, and a felony conviction for PCS with prior prison term out of California in 2018. He was sentenced to 92 months prison in that case. Looks like he was released in 2022. Other felony convictions include a robbery out of California in 2014. It looks like he was given probation, he was revoked, sent to prison, and then had numerous parole violations through 2018. A gross misdemeanor conviction for indecent exposure back in 2013. Misdemeanors throughout, including a misdemeanor conviction for indecent exposure in 2017. So obviously he's a very high risk of continued criminal conduct, especially similar conduct as he was arrested for in this case. So the state's requesting bail in the amount of $20,000, pretrial services supervision if he's able to post with testing for controlled substances.
We're gonna just submit, Your Honor.
All right, so I have the same conditions, but given his risk assessment for violent crimes and felonies, I've also added shall not possess firearms or weapons.
That seems appropriate, Your Honor.
That's fine, Your Honor.
All right. Just check something else. Okay, so I'm gonna set his bill at $20,000. He'll be subject to testing, shall not possess firearms or weapons, supervised check-ins with pretrial. All right, I've also appointed a public defender for Daniel. And again, I've read through all these files, so I'm familiar with the facts of the case, the PC sheet, risk assessment, as well as the court services notes. All right, the next individual I have is Paul Ezekiel, I believe.
He refused.
So, Your Honor, he did refuse. We were unable to talk with him, so I would just ask to continue this one day.
All right. Okay, so this one, all will be continued till Sunday. Next is Laura Dixon. After Ms. Dixon is going to be Edward Spalding, followed by Sheraton Torres. All right, so stay ready to proceed on Ms. Dixon.
Yes, Your Honor. So the biggest issue for Ms. Dixon is that she's also in custody on 2 counts of domestic battery out of Sparks Municipal Courts. Prior to that, her only criminal history is a misdemeanor conviction for destruction of property back in 2015. But in this case, she did exhibit a level of non-compliance and violence with the deputy. She's already in on a violent crime. So the state is requesting bail in the amount of $3,000 on this case with pretrial services supervision if she's able to post.
Okay. Is she in on anything else?
She is in on the 2 domestic batteries out of Sparks Municipal Court.
All right. Do we have a response?
Yes, Your Honor, my understanding is she was released on those other charges. So my understanding is she is just here on this charge. I see the MPRA score originally was a 6. That comes from, I believe, yesterday. My ask would be an OR. We were able to speak with her father. We verified an address of 4255 Wedekind Avenue, number 421. That she's been there for 4 months. We also have verified that she's employed at Tesla. She's been working for Tesla for 6 years. We also verified a phone number. Her father said this is not like her, that she's never been in trouble like this before. So I would just be asking for an OR release, with any conditions you find appropriate.
All right, and then where did you say she resides? Cause she didn't,
40,
provide that.
Yeah.
services.
4255. Yeah, Wedekind Road. Number 421. Here in Reno, Nevada.
Then, Ms. Darby, were you aware that the other charges were resolved?
I'm not sure that they're resolved, Your Honor, but I was not aware, if she's been released on those, I was not aware of that. When I checked the jail website this morning, she was still held on that, but perhaps she was seen, I don't know what time Sparks Municipal Court does there.
Yeah, the jail staff,
Ended right before Sparks.
yeah, told me at 8 a.m. this morning that she was released or OR'd on those this morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that, Your Honor, frankly, I'm not opposed to an OR.
Yeah, neither am I. All right, so she'll be released. And does she live there with anybody else or just with her father?
Her boyfriend.
Okay,
So Your Honor, it sounds like he might be the alleged victim in the domestic, so she can stay with her dad, at another address. I thought that was her father's address, but it sounds like that was hers.
all right. Well, that's why I was asking. So what is her father's address?
Here, I'll let her give that to you, Your Honor.
It's
Okay.
7664 Apex Place in Lemon Valley.
7664 Apex Place?
Yeah, I believe it's Apex Place or Apex Road, Your Honor.
All right. All right, so just change my GRO here. All right, so you are gonna be released. Shall not possess firearms or weapons. Other condition will be you must reside at 7664 Apex Place with your father, and you'll have supervised check-ins with pretrial. All right,
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's my bad.
Yeah, you can go back.
all right, next is Mr. Spalding.
And Your Honor, after Mr. Spalding, if we could call Miss Bozeman, I'm not sure if she's in the courtroom yet, but toward the top of the calendar, I know that the named victim's father is present, and I believe he wishes to give a statement to the court.
Is that about me?
Okay.
Nope.
And that's Daniel Lasik, I believe it is.
That's right, Your Honor.
And you sure he wants to give a statement? My understanding is he was just there observing.
I'm not positive, Your Honor. I'll look at that, but either way, if we could take Miss Bozeman sooner rather than later so we can get him out of here.
Right, I understand. All right. So, is the state ready to proceed with this? Kind of a unique case, somewhat. Is the
Yes.
state ready to proceed with Mr. Spalding? Looks like he was a victim, but he provoked the assault.
Yes, Your Honor, this is a unique case, and I really have thought a long time about what we can do with these two co-defendants. They're
Right.
62 and 64 years old, respectively.
Right.
And they're neighbors. It sounds like they have a history of disagreements, I guess we could say. They don't get along in any event. So I'm trying to think, Your Honor, of how we can craft conditions for both of them, right? Because they were both arrested. They're neighbors. So So my thought was no objection to OR with pretrial services supervision, no contact with one another and no firearms or weapons. But with the no contact, the concern really is that, one of them's gonna say something to the other one and they're gonna call the police on each other. And so I'm just wondering how we're going to deal with this, Your Honor. I don't know. I'm hoping maybe the court has a suggestion on how to deal with the no contact with one another.
Restraining order.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
let me
well-
just check,
What would happen?
because I had him flagged as a possible OR.
So, Your Honor, my understanding in speaking with them this morning is they actually live on opposite sides of the complex. So there's really no reason for them other than maybe meeting at the mailbox, which I know is where this incident happened. But I
Right.
think, and based on Mr. Spalding and speaking with both of them, they don't want anything to do with each other. So I think just a no contact order would be sufficient. Of course, if that's violated, they'll be back here. They both know that. That's just my suggestion.
Understood. So I mean, we do a fair number of restraining orders in justice court. So let me just check a couple things here.
We can paperwork. Whatever.
I think I do have a solution here. Then, Mr. Spalding, you understand if you violate, there's gonna be a no contact order with Michael. All right, and I
Yes,
take it, if you violate it, you're gonna be right back here. Do you understand that?
yes, sir.
And you reside at 1600 Idlewild Drive,
I do.
Unit 14?
Yes.
Just bear with me here. But if you happen to see Michael, you need to turn around and walk away. Do you understand that?
I do, sir.
All right, so. There'll be no contact with Michael Coker, I believe it is. You may go to and from your apartment. That's the exception. So you won't violate the restraining order in the event you go to and from your home. Shall not possess firearms or weapons. Must reside in 1600 Idlewild Drive, Unit 14, and supervise check-ins with pretrial services. You need to avoid Michael at all costs. Is that understood?
Yes, there's two different stairways that one I can use by the mailbox, the other that he could use on the other end of the building. That would keep us apart.
Right, but this whole issue started with you two at the same mailbox area, right?
Yes,
All right, well, that's why I said if you see him, you turn around, go back to your apartment, go to the mailbox later.
okay.
All right,
The arraignment will be January 28th at 9 AM.
Thank you, Your Honor. You're gonna get paperwork for everything.
Is it
all
more?
over
Yep. You're gonna do that.
Your feet.
January 29th, 8 AM, 28th, all right. All right, next is Sheraton Torres, followed by Brandon Garcia.
So, Your Honor, Mr. Torres refused. I would ask to continue this one day.
This was continued yesterday.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, and so if it helps, Mr. Watson, I'm not objecting to an own recognizance release for Mr. Torres, with the conditions of pretrial services supervision and testing for controlled substances.
We'll submit on that.
Okay, and then hold on a second, so. I'm sorry, what did you add? So let me check. Oh, no, I have it. I've got it. Just need to sign it. All right, so I'm appointing a public defender in this case. I'm gonna go ahead and OR him. I have a no contact with 101 Clear Creek and testing. And supervised check-ins with pretrial. All right. Next is Brandon Garcia, followed by Zachary Cochran.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning. All right. So it looks like on this case, the bail amount on his warrant was already set at $5,000 with conditions.
Yes, Your Honor, the state's not objecting to an unrecognizance release for Mr. Garcia on the conditions of, with the conditions of pretrial services supervision and testing for drugs and alcohol. The facts giving rise to this charge occurred back in July. And it looks
Right.
like he was extradited from Winnemucca. His criminal history prior to that is all 2022 and earlier. He does have a DUI in 2022, and then a misdemeanor conviction in 2017 for possessed drugs not for interstate commerce. He's also got a felony conviction in 2017 for PCS, but given kind of the nature of the case, the fact that it occurred back in July, and that he doesn't have any recent criminal history in the last couple of years, the state's not objecting to that OR, pretrial services supervision and testing for drugs and alcohol.
We'll submit, Your Honor.
All right. All right, so I'm gonna call the conditions that were on the warrant. No contact, obviously testing, and instead of DAS, it'll be pretrial supervision. All right,
What if I?
Thank you, Your Honor.
all right,
Yeah, you'll be fine.
you'll be OR on it.
Yep.
Next is Zachary Cochran.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello. All right, is the state ready to proceed on Mr. Cochran?
Yes, Your Honor. So it's my understanding that Mr. Cochran is in DUI specialty court on his other pending case out of this court, but I think it probably is appropriate to go ahead and set bail. In this case, it's my understanding he'll be seen in that case or on that case on Monday. So
That's
here's kind of the lay of the land for Mr. Cochran. He scores an 8 on the risk assessment, but that really does not reflect the level of danger to the community that he presents. He has an active suspended sentence out of this court on a prior conviction for DUI. He was last released from the Washoe County Sheriff's Office on January 4th, so 6 days ago and just a few days prior to his arrest for felony DUI, child abuse, resisting, and driving on a revoked in this case. So he's got a misdemeanor conviction in 2025 for no driver's license that was reduced from driving on a revoked due to DUI. So he continues to drive without a license. His license has been revoked at a DUI and he doesn't care. He just continues to drive. He also has a misdemeanor arrest for a probation violation in 2025. He's got a misdemeanor arrest for a probation violation in 2024. He's got a misdemeanor conviction for DUI second in 2024 out of Sparks Municipal Court. He's got that pending case out of this court, misdemeanor conviction for DUI first in 2024. In that case, his own recognizance release was revoked after he failed to appear and had multiple pretrial violations. As I mentioned, he is in DUI court with, I think it's Judge Pearson. He's had many compliance problems. He was temporarily revoked and ordered to serve 2 days in the Washoe County Jail on December 29th of 2025. 2017, he's got a felony arrest for failure to appear, a misdemeanor conviction for petty larceny, 2 more misdemeanor convictions separately for petty larceny. 2016, a felony arrest for fraudulent use of a credit card and possessed credit card without consent, no disposition on those cases. And then in 2011, he's got 2 more misdemeanor convictions for DUI. So this is his 5th lifetime DUI arrest. If he's convicted, it'll be his 5th lifetime DUI conviction. He is non-compliant with officers in this case. They had to, they were ordering him to step out of the vehicle for around 30 minutes and he refused to do so. He's in DUI court. He's not been compliant. He was just temporarily revoked, just released from the Washoe County Sheriff's Office 6 days ago. very, very clear that he's a high level of danger to the community. There really are no conditions that this court can impose to ensure the safety of the community. He continues to drive while under the influence. In this case, he had his little baby on his lap. So the state's requesting bail in the amount of $100,000, pretrial services supervision with testing, with daily testing for alcohol and scram, no driving without a valid driver's license, insurance, and registration.
I'm sorry, what was the amount that was requested?
$100,000.
Okay.
That's my understanding. The detective is gonna have him on a no bail hold, right?
So Officer Wick is going to be advocating him on his DUI case. So he will be advocated on that, so for his specialty work.
Then one thing I wanted to confirm, based on reviewing the PC sheet. Has this occurred 600 Geiger grade road? Is that where the children live? Were you able to find that out, Ms. Darby?
I'm not sure about that, Your Honor.
Yes, it is, Your Honor. That's also where he lives, with 600 Geiger grade, number 618. And in talking with him and hearing the state's concern, my ask would be for a $10,000 bail, or in the alternative, I would ask for direct transport, IAP transport to an inpatient facility if we get a substance abuse evaluation and he qualifies. Clearly, you know, based on what the state has been saying, these DUIs have been escalating. Other than that, seems has some minor misdemeanors here and there for the last decade. But my ask today would be to set it at $10,000, or in the alternative, direct IAP transport to an inpatient facility, because clearly he has substance abuse issues, if not alcohol. I mean, specifically alcohol at this point. And so that would be my ask today, Your Honor.
Well, not under the facts of this case. And if that request is gonna be made, it should be made DUI court. So I'm gonna set his bail at $100,000. We'll have no contact with Sabrina Curry, Raiden Wilson, Lennon, Cochran, and Courtney Wilson. I think I captured all the individuals. Because given his conduct, and especially with Lennon, he should not have contact with his kids until he is able to get his life straight. All right,
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Sorry.
all right.
Oh, it's going on.
How about Michael Coker?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, did you impose supervision and testing requirements for him?
I did.
Okay, I didn't hear that. Can you repeat that for me, please?
Yeah, it's pretrial daily testing is what you asked for.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure.
Okay. Then I'm sorry, Ms. Darby, who did you want? You wanted to take Allison Bozeman, right?
Oh, yes, please, Your Honor.
All right, so let's do Mr. Coker first, and then we'll do Mr. Bose or Ms. Bozeman. Okay, are we ready to proceed with Mr. Coker? This is the companion case, Mr. Spalding.
Yes, Your Honor. So, so same thing in this case. No, now Mr. Coker's a little separately situated because he has a pretty lengthy felony criminal history, but it is all very remote. It's in the 80s and 90s. So the state's not objecting to an unrecognizance release for him, pretrial services supervision, no contact with Edward Spalding, with the same admonishments that Your Honor gave to Mr. Spalding, and no firearms or weapons.
We'll submit on that, Your Honor. And he was here, we've talked, he wants nothing to do with Mr. Spalding.
Well, I hope so, because he's gonna be right back here with another felony. All right, because he's using a baseball bat on Mr. Spalding. So there'll be no contact with Mr. Spalding, Mr. Coker. You can go to and from your apartment. If you see him at the mailbox or any place else on premises, you need to turn around and walk away. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, because you're gonna be right back here again. You still live at 1600 Idlewild Drive, Unit 12?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you'll be released with that no contact order and admonition, shall not possess firearms or weapons. Supervised check-ins with pretrial services. All right,
Yes, sir.
don't forget, stay away from Mr. Spalding or else you'll be in trouble.
Okay.
Can be really.
She wanted to have her own son. She wanted to be I can write it out right here.
Yeah, you can change it. All right, so let me find Ms. Bozeman. All right, next will be Allison Bozeman. All right, is the state ready to proceed with Ms. Bozeman?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. So, the named victim in this case, her father is present via Zoom. I'm looking at the notes. I'm not sure whether he intends to give a statement to the court, but what I can relay to the court is that it looks like he wants the defendant released. He wants her to come home. As far as the no contact order, he does not want one. He says he's not afraid of her. He's not concerned for his safety. It says that we always specifically ask about mental health, drug, and or alcohol abuse, and he says that the defendant has an alcohol problem, but no mental health or drugs. The alcohol problem, I mean, we can see that on the facts of this case. So,
Right.
so Your Honor, the concern for me, and I'm not going to object to an OR, but she does have a misdemeanor arrest for violating a court order to prevent domestic violence back in 2011. That was out of California. That case was deferred for revocation of probation. She's got misdemeanor convictions in 2010 for DUI and child cruelty out of California. And then she's got a felony arrest for domestic battery out of California in 2006, which was no issued. So this isn't her first time being arrested for domestic related issues. The behavior in this case is very concerning to the state. And so, I'm not going to object this one time for her, but I do think that she needs daily testing for alcohol, given her history, given the facts of this case. And I would also request no contact with the minor child with the initials LB unless authorized by HSA CPS.
All right, do you know what the status is with CPS?
I don't know what the status is, Your Honor. So I would just say no contact unless authorized by HSA CPS if applicable.
All right, and you want to keep the no contact with the child as LB instead of the full name?
However, the court normally does that. I just prefer not to say the minor's name on the record.
Right. All right. And let me just confirm, I thought LB lived there.
I believe she does, Your Honor. So that means the defendant, if CPS says you can't have contact with the children, she needs to find somewhere else to go. That's the state's position.
Right.
That's fine, Your Honor.
All right. All right, so hopefully I pronounced this name correctly. Is it Blasik? Daniel?
Yes.
All right, did you want to make a comment, Daniel? Or testify in this case?
I just I just want her to come home, like if possible, and I just want to get her. I just want to get her home.
Okay.
I just don't think. I
Does the
just don't think she.
minor- Sorry,
I
go
just
ahead.
don't. Say again. Sorry, Your Honor.
I was gonna say, the minor child lives there, doesn't she? LB,
Yes, yes, my daughter does live here.
right?
My kids just want her to come back home. My kids want her home. My daughter wants her home. Like they don't want to see her like in this situation. They just want her out. We all just want her out. That's all we want. I could get her help. We could get her help. I'll do whatever it takes to get her help.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Darby, what about, is CPS involved, Mr. Basic?
He's a CPS. No, no, absolutely not. No.
All right, so maybe a suggestion, Ms. Darby, is an OR release. She can go back and live at home. But she would have to have supervised check-ins with pretrial services and tests daily.
Okay.
Yeah, so Your Honor, I think that is appropriate, those conditions. Just because CPS isn't involved yet doesn't mean they won't be. And so if they do become involved, I would request that she be ordered to comply with any conditions imposed by CPS, including as it relates to being around the minor child.
Your Honor, as far as daily testing, I would just ask for an OSM device. With the pretrial service check-ins.
So that was the other issue I wanted to resolve.
Yeah, because I don't.
So I don't think you have an objection to that, right, Ms. Darby? So it would be an OSM device.
I don't have an objection to that, Your Honor.
All right, fitted prior to release. All right, so
The OSM, how much?
change my
Things like
release order, so she bid, Ms. Bozeman will be released on her own recognizance. She can live with her parents, she will be subject to testing. She'll have supervised check-ins with pretrial services. And she'll also be fitted for an OSM device prior to release.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Something. Yeah.
OSM.
No, it's just like a little cell phone looking thing. It tells you when to test. So, okay.
At the same
All right.
time.
Yep. Scroll. Go back to the unit 2. Thank you, Your Honor.
State. Yep. All right,
Do you want random drug and then daily alcohol?
yes, well, no daily alcohol.
No.
So they're gonna do the OSM device and we would daily testing.
Okay.
But you will have to check in with pretrial services. All right. I think we got Mr. Henderson next, right? Yeah, so next
Henderson?
individual is gonna be Mr. Henderson, Nicholas Henderson, followed by Jonathan Hewitt.
Oh, Your Honor, that's right. I did speak with Mr. Henderson. We can proceed. He's waiving his presence. He just wasn't feeling well today.
All right. All right, is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's requesting bail in the amount of $2,000 for Mr. Henderson, pretrial services with testing for controlled substances if he's able to post. So he scores an 11 on the risk assessment. He was scored 0 points for failures to appear, but he was also booked on a failure to appear warrant. He's got a pending case out of this court. That case that's pending, it was a felony arrest for PCS. I failed to look to see what we charged in that case. But in any event, he was released on his own recognizance back in October 20th of last year, and then he failed to appear for his arraignment. He's also got a felony arrest in 2025 for PCS with intent to sell, PCS, burglary. That case was no issued, apparently. 2023, a felony conviction for attempted burglary. It looks like he did specialty court in that case, and he did receive an early honorable discharge. And then he's got additional misdemeanors 2018, 2017, 2016 for possession of drug paraphernalia, PCS, and petty larceny. And then back in 2014, a felony conviction for DUI causing substantial bodily harm out of California. In that case, his probation was revoked and he was sent to prison. Looks like in 2018 and paroled in 2020. So he is a risk of future non-appearance. He's got that pending case out of this court for which he's already failed to appear, and he's a risk of continued criminal conduct as well. So the state's requesting $2,000 bail, pretrial services, supervision with testing for controlled substances if he's able to post.
All right, do we have a response?
Yes, Your Honor. So my ask today is going to be an OR release with direct IAP transport to an inpatient facility. I understand he has a prior FTA. The facts of this case, he was found with 0.28 grams in a bag, I guess, by his feet. I mean, that's very minimal. That's like trace amounts. Clearly, I think based on his history and in talking with him, he has a substance abuse problem. So that would be my ask today, is to OR him to an inpatient facility, or if you find it appropriate, also the state's ask kind of an either or, the $2,000 or direct transport to an inpatient facility.
They'd have an objection to that?
I don't, Your Honor.
All right. All right, so his bail will be set at 2,000, but the additional condition will be either has to post 2,000 or there'll be a direct transport to an inpatient facility. I have shall not possess firearms or weapons based on his criminal history. It'll be subject to testing by pretrial services, and it'll be supervised by pretrial services. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Okay. How about Jonathan Hewitt?
Yes, Your Honor. So I did speak with Mr. Hewitt. He did waive his presence. We can proceed.
Okay. All right, is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. So Mr. Hewitt's in custody on a domestic battery third offense. He scores a 10 on the risk assessment. We don't have a breakdown of that because the case was originally routed to Reno Municipal Court. So I don't know what points he scored in what categories. He was also arrested on a failure to comply warrant at the time of his original arrest. So as far as criminal history, 2025, he's got a misdemeanor conviction for trespassing. He failed to appear for his bench trial in April of last year in that case. And then a failure to comply warrant issued in November of last year after the defendant failed to check in for sentencing requirements. 2023 has got a misdemeanor conviction for domestic battery second. That was a different victim than the victim in this case. In that case, he had 2 post-adjudication arrests for positive tests for meth, alcohol, and THC. 2021, he's got a misdemeanor conviction for a domestic battery first. A different victim than this case, but the same victim as his other domestic battery conviction. Also a misdemeanor conviction for disturbing the peace. 2021, a misdemeanor arrest for failure to comply, a misdemeanor conviction for violating a domestic violence EPO, a misdemeanor conviction for destruction of property. 2020, a misdemeanor conviction for possession of drug paraphernalia, a DUI second conviction in 2019, and then 2016, a gross misdemeanor conviction for conspiracy to commit battery resulting in substantial bodily harm. That was reduced from battery resulting in substantial bodily harm when the victim didn't show up for prelim. In that case, he punched the victim in the face, causing a blowout fracture requiring reconstructive surgery and metal plates. The victim in that case was his boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. When an officer located the defendant in that case and told him to show his hands, he grabbed a knife and held it until the officer started to draw her firearm. He's got another misdemeanor conviction for DUI back in 2013, a reckless driving conviction reduced from a DUI back in 2012, and then a battery in 2009. So as your honors just heard, he has a very lengthy history as it relates to violence and substantial violence against intimate partners. He's got numerous different intimate partner victims throughout the course of his history. This is his third separate documented victim that I know of. We tried to contact the victim in this case, Your Honor. We did provide her, we texted her the link for the hearing today. We know that the defendant has called and spoken with her at least 13 times from the jail. So bail is certainly appropriate in this case. He's very dangerous, especially as it relates to intimate partner violence. He's also a risk of future non-appearance. He failed to appear for a bench trial out of Reno Muni last year. So the state is requesting bail in the amount of $50,000, bondable only, pretrial services supervision if he's able to post with testing for drugs and alcohol, given his recent history, and no contact with the victim as a condition and pursuant to statute, and no firearms or weapons.
All right, do we have a response?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm gonna be asking for $10,000 or a 10% cash option today. I did speak with Mr. Hewitt. He can stay with his mother if he is released, so he wouldn't have to go back to where this incident happened. He's also willing to do the GPS monitoring if that's necessary to ensure compliance with the stay away order. Other than that, I would submit on all those other requests from the state.
All right, again, the facts are concerning in this case as well as his criminal record. I am gonna set his bail at $50,000, no 10% cash option. He will have to, there'll be a no contact with 515 South Virginia Street, Unit 617. No contact with the Lonnie Franks Barra. He will be subject to residential confinement and fitted before release. In the event he's able to post, he'll be subject to testing. Shall not possess firearms or weapons. In the event he's able to post, pretrial must verify the address of his mother and he must reside with his mother. He'll be subject to supervised check-ins with pretrial services.
There's no content order also for split statute.
Yeah, I marked that box, so we're. All right. Next is Aaron Hunt.
Your Honor, so he did refuse. I'd ask to continue this one day to speak with him.
This is not his second time, right? All right, I'm gonna continue Mr. Hunt. All right, how about Eric Orapiza? Hopefully I pronounced that right.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning. All right, is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's not objecting to a known recognizance release with no contact with 735 Mill Street.
We'll submit on that, Your Honor.
All right, let me check my notes on this. So, sir, you still reside at 5740 Leon Drive?
Correct.
Where's that in relationship to the 735 Mill Street?
I would say more than 15 miles away, 10 miles away.
All right. All right, so one of my conditions is you need to reside at that address. All right, so I have a couple of additional conditions. He'll be released, no contact with James Braden or 735 Mill Street, shall not possess firearms and weapons, must reside at 5740 Leon Drive, and supervise check-ins with pretrial services.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
Yeah, you'll get paperwork and stuff on.
All right, what about Crutcher, RC Crutcher?
Morning, Your Honor.
Morning. Well, this shows it's a bail head. And I'm showing also it's a warrant.
We're arrested, but don't be a email.
Yes, the arraignment will Monday. Okay. Let me just check my notes on this before we proceed. Okay, looks like his bail was already set by Sullivan at 5,000, right?
That's right, Your Honor.
Okay. Yeah, state want to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's requesting that the court maintain the bail as set by Judge Sullivan at $5,000 with pretrial services supervision if he's able to post that. He scores a 5 on the risk assessment. He's also in custody on a federal hold. It looks like he has an arrest for aggravated assault. That's a tribal case. I think that's probably the case that he's held on. There's no disposition on the criminal history report, but per the victim in that case, she called our office and indicated prior to this arrest that he had sentencing set for January 8th. So I'm not sure if he was sentenced on that a couple days ago or what the status is. But in any event, he does have that violent arrest last year. Prior to that, his criminal history is remote. He's got a 2008 misdemeanor arrest for possession of drug paraphernalia and DUI. That was out of Idaho with no disposition. So what I can tell the court is the victim in the other case appears to be very concerned about his level of violence. He appears to be increasing in terms or escalating in terms of violence. He's battering people in the jail. So the state is requesting that the court keep the bail as set at $5,000 with pretrial services supervision if he's able to post.
All right, do we have a response?
Yes, Your Honor. So I believe the $5,000 was issued as a warrant. He was in federal custody from December of 2024 up until 2 days ago. It sounds like that case has been dismissed, which is why he's now back in custody in front of us. I believe the warrant was issued earlier in 2025 when he was in federal custody. So I think the warrant being issued as being in federal custody, no fault of his own. Well, I take that back, but as far as, you know, he couldn't appear on that because he was in federal custody. So I would just be asking for an OR release. I understand this is a battery by prisoner. He'll have his arraignment. I think that $5,000, as I stated, was issued by Sullivan mainly to get him back in front of the court. He's here now. So I'd just be asking for an OR release with pretrial services check-ins.
And Your Honor, just to be clear, I'm looking at the jail website right now. He has a federal hold right now. So I don't know if the case was dismissed, maybe, but he's still got a hold.
I did speak with him about that and we're confused on that. He said that he was granted, he's on probation, so
3 years probation.
I don't know if coming back here triggered that hold. Maybe he was released on probation, picked up on the warrant, and now the warrant has now triggered the hold, the probation hold. That's my assumption based on what he's telling me.
I mean, that may be possible, but his arraignment will be on Monday.
Okay.
I can't make decisions on maybes. So his bail is going to be set on $5,000. Shall not possess firearms or weapons. He'll have supervised check-ins with pretrial services. And then he'll be back on Monday.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Next is Angelina Archuleta. This we know. Okay. Bring that up. All right, so this is a no jail criminal complaint.
Yes, Your Honor.
Charge is use of possession of paraphernalia.
Correct, Your Honor. She does have that criminal complaint. Her name is spelled correctly. We have reviewed that. I believe she's going to plead guilty today with the credit time served. She does also have a probation hold, so she won't be released. That will probably trigger a technical violation with a 30-day flash. So she knows that. I did discuss that with her. Yeah.
Okay. And then how much time does she have?
So I think she's been in since the 30th of December. So she has 12 days credit.
Yeah, it'll be 12 days. All right, so it's my understanding, Miss, that you're gonna be pleading guilty to count 1, use of possession of drug paraphernalia. Is
Yes,
that correct?
yes,
All right, do you understand by pleading to that charge today, you're waiving valuable constitutional rights, including your right to go to trial on this matter and contest the charges? Do you understand that, Miss?
yes,
You understand the consequences of your plea?
yes,
You also understand after I accept your plea, I'm not required to follow the terms of what's been recommended by counsel in this case, and I can always impose my own sentence.
right,
You understand that?
yes,
All right, court finds you've entered your plea. Excuse me. So how do you plead to that charge? Count 1, use of possession of drug paraphernalia.
guilty,
Okay, court finds you entered your plea intelligently, voluntarily, with a knowing understanding of each element of the charge and consequences of your plea. And the court accepts your plea of guilty to said charge. I am going to file recommendations of counsel. You'll have 12 days with 12 days credit for time served. All right, so this case is done. All right, miss?
yes, thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Can I go home?
Yeah. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, so the clerk just alerted me to the last 3 individuals that we have in the courtroom. Well, let me back up a second. The clerk informed me that De La Rosa does speak English and she does not need an interpreter.
No, she does need an interpreter.
Okay. Fair enough.
Al-Qaeda Garcia does not need an interpreter.
That was my mistake.
Okay.
Or would you like
Alright,
one?
so do we wanna
He
do-
would like everyone would like an interpreter.
Okay, everyone would like an interpreter. All right.
Yes.
You want to get the interpreter on the line? And we'll start with Miguel.
Morning.
Please hold for an interpreter.
Do you need her in the court?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay, perfect. We have 3 cases that we're gonna need interpreting on, and we're gonna start now.
Hi, thank you for calling Language Solutions. This is Edgar, ID number 358929. I'll be your Spanish interpreter. This call may be monitored for training quality assurance purposes.
Okay. You want to announce the case? Yes, please.
The next case is the state of Nevada versus Miguel Alcade Garcia.
Siguiente caso sería Nevada contra Miguel Paguel García.
All right, is the state ready to proceed? Please interpret.
¿El Estado está listo para proceder?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's not objecting to an own recognizance release.
Sí, su honoría. El Estado no está negando una fianza de por su propia palabra.
With the conditions of pretrial services supervision, comply with conditions required by HSA/CPS,
Con las condiciones de servicios de prejuicio, supervisión y cumplimiento de un momento, lo siento. I'm sorry, compliance with sorry,
pretrial services supervision.
supervision, and the last part was the
And-
CPS and
Yes, HSA/CPS.
también cumplimiento con las condiciones de HSA de CPS.
And no contact with the victim unless approved by CPS.
Ningún contacto con la víctima si no es aprobado por CPS.
All right, do we have a response?
We will submit on that. Your Honor.
Aceptamos eso.
All right. So I have a question, Ms. Darby. Please
Tengo una
interpret.
pregunta, señora Darby.
The victim in this case also lives with Mr. Garcia, so that means he'll have to live somewhere else. Please interpret.
La víctima también vive con señor García. Esto querría decir que él necesita vivir en alguna otra parte.
So that would be true, Your Honor, if CPS doesn't authorize contact.
Eso sería verdadero, su señoría, si CPS no brinda o no acepta contacto.
John,
So my question,
I think there's gonna be
So,
a problem there because we have the mother and father both in court. I don't know how there can be a no contact ordered for both parents.
Habría un problema ahí, ya que ambos, mamá y papá, están en corte. No entiendo cómo podría haber una orden de no contacto en contra de los dos.
So
we haven't got, hold on, we haven't got to the mom yet.
Right.
Please
No
interpret.
hemos llegado a la parte de mamá todavía.
Mr. Garcia
So-
was the one that had the broomstick. Please interpret.
Sí. Señor García era el que tenía el palo de escoba.
Did you want to add anything, Ms. Darby? Please interpret.
¿Quisiera poner algo, señora Darby?
yes, Your Honor. So really, whether or not contact is appropriate is a determination that's best made by CPS in the state's opinion.
I would
En la
agree.
opinión del Estado, si el contacto es apropiado o no, es mejor determinado por CPS.
And so if CPS says they can have contact, then I think that that would be fine. But if CPS doesn't believe contact is appropriate, CPS, I think that decision should be left up to them.
Si CPS dice que pueden tener contacto, estaría bien, pero si deciden o determinan que no podría tener contacto, esa decisión sería ya de parte de ellos.
So I understand that, but purpose of my question is to find out if there's an alternative address he can go to in that event. Please interpret.
Entiendo eso, pero el propósito de mi pregunta es si hay alguna dirección alternativa a donde el señor García podría ir en ese caso,
So I can put that address in my order.
para que pueda poner esa dirección en la orden.
Your Honor, he's telling me that there is no other address.
Él me indica que no hay ninguna otra dirección.
And Your Honor, it could be that CPS removes the child. I really don't know what their intentions are, what their plan is here.
Y podría ser que CPS podría remover al menor. No sé cuáles son sus intenciones.
All right. Mr. Watson, did you want to add anything? Please interpret.
Señor Watson, ¿quisiera adicionar algo?
I agree with the state. I think CPS, if there is going to be any sort of involvement that they, or removal or separation from the child, it should be left up to them.
Estoy de acuerdo con el Estado. Si CPS va a hacer va a estar involucrado en alguna forma, si van a remover al menor o van a arreglar alguna o poner algún límite, sería de parte de CPS.
I think the biggest problem with that as well, if there was to be some sort of no contact order or something like that, would be that there are multiple other children that live in the home. 3 other kids live there as well. So I think it's important for the parents to be back at that home to also take care of them.
El problema más grande que vería es si ponen alguna orden de no contacto. Hay múltiples otros menores, hay otros 3 niños viviendo ahí, y sería importante que mamá o papá puedan estar en casa con ellos.
With that, I'll submit.
Con
So
eso hago entrega.
So I understand that, but I still have to craft an order that satisfies all those concerns. Please interpret.
Entiendo eso, pero todavía necesito poner una orden o hacer una orden que satisfecha todas esas preocupaciones.
So he will be released. Please interpret.
Lo dejarán ir.
No contact with the named victim.
Nada de contacto con la víctima nombrada.
I won't say the whole name, but her last name is Ms. De La Rosa.
No diré el nombre completo, pero apellido Ms. de la Rosa.
Unless approved by CPS. Please interpret.
Si no es aprobado por CPS,
Shall not possess firearms or weapons and must comply with CPS HSA.
no debe de poseer ninguna arma de fuego y cumplir con los requisitos de CPS y HSA.
All right, and be subject to pretrial supervision.
Y ser sujeto a prejuicio y supervisión.
All right, is there any further comments, Ms. Darby or Mr. Watson?
¿Hay algún otro comentario de parte del señor Darby o señor Watson?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
No, Your Honor, thanks.
No, su señoría.
All right,
You're gonna be released.
next is Ms. De La Rosa Flores.
Señora de la Rosa Flores.
Yes.
Companion case. All right, is the state ready to proceed?
¿Estado listo para proceder?
Yes, Your Honor. So the state is not objecting to an unrecognizance release with the same conditions that the court just imposed on her co-defendant.
Sí, su honoría, el Estado no está en contra de fianza en su propia palabra con las mismas condiciones impuestas a su codefendiente.
Those being pretrial services supervision, comply with all conditions required by HSA CPS, and no contact with the victim unless approved by HSA CPS.
Son los servicios de prejuicio, supervisión, cumplir con las condiciones de HSA, CPS, nada de contacto con la víctima si no es autorizado por HSA o CPS.
We will submit on that, Your Honor.
Entregamos lo mismo.
All right, so Ms. De La Rosa Flores will be released. Please interpret.
Señora de la Rosa Flores, ¿la dejarán salir?
No contact with the named victim indicated in the other case.
Nada de contacto con la víctima nombrada indicada en el otro caso.
Unless CPS HSA approves such contact.
Si no CPS o HCA aprueba ese contacto.
Must comply with CPS HSA conditions
Necesita cumplir con las condiciones de CPS y HSA
and will be subject to supervision by pretrial services.
y será sujeta a supervisión por servicios de prejuicio.
All right, is there anything further?
¿Hay algo más?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
No, Your
No,
Honor.
su señoría.
Okay. So I'm showing. It's like Mr. Gerson. And I just
Yes.
want to confirm, is this the last individual in the courtroom?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay. No, just him, because he was the one that did all the bad stuff. All right, is the state ready to proceed? Please interpret.
¿Estado listo para proceder?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry, may I get the defendant's last name again?
GERSON.
I believe it's Rax Pop. Yeah, I think that's the first name, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
apologize. Yeah, RAXPOP.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. So the state's requesting bail in the amount of $75,000, pretrial services supervision if he's able to post, and no contact with minors.
Su honoría, el Estado pide una fianza de 75,000 y si puede brindarlos supervisión de prejuicio y nada de contacto con menores.
So the likelihood of conviction in this case is very high.
La probabilidad de convicción en este caso es bastante alta.
And that's relevant in as much as it relates to a risk of future non-appearance.
Es relevante cómo se relaciona al riesgo de futura que no aparezca en el futuro.
But adding to his risk of future non-appearance is the fact that he has an immigration hold.
Y adicionando al riesgo de que no aparezca en el futuro, es que tiene una espera de parte de inmigración.
His criminal history reports that he has a removal warrant for failing to appear for removal.
Su historial criminal reporta que tiene una orden de detención y remoción por falta de aparecer para una remoción.
And that appears to be related to a 2018 immigration arrest.
Y eso parece que está relacionado a un arresto de inmigración en 2018.
And so for all those reasons, Your Honor, and also the risk to the community as indicated by the facts of the case.
Y por eso todas esas razones, señoría, y también todas las razones de riesgos a la comunidad enseñados en el caso.
The state is requesting bail in the amount of $75,000 with pretrial services supervision and no contact with minors.
El Estado está pidiendo 75,000 en fianza y servicios de prejuicio, de supervisión de prejuicio y nada de contacto con menores.
Do you have a response?
Yes, Your
¿Hay
Honor.
respuesta?
Yes. In speaking with Mr. Raxpop,
Hablando con señor Rexpop,
he can't afford any bail. So any sort of bail would be a de facto detention.
no puede cubrir ninguna fianza, es que cualquier cantidad de fianza sería a detención.
So with that, I would ask for a nominal bail amount to be determined by you.
Con eso pediría que la fianza sea puesta nominalmente de parte del juez.
And I'll submit on that.
Y entrego eso.
All right, just as the state indicated, the risk is very high for his non-appearance. Please interpret.
Como indicó el Estado, el riesgo para su falta de aparecer es bastante alta.
So his bail is going to be set at $75,000.
Su fianza estará puesta a $75,000.
No contact with minors. Please interpret.
Ningún contacto con menores.
and supervised check-ins with pretrial services.
Y revisiones supervisadas con servicios de perjuicio.
All right, is there anything further?
¿Algo más?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
No,
Well,
señoría.
All right, I'll see you on Sunday. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Interpreter.
you.
Los veré el domingo. And thank you for your services. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Sure.